Hi Stampers, I am Meg from LovenStamps and we are here for another Maker Mornings with Meg video. And today we are continuing with our butterflies. So they are finally live. You can get them online, link is in the description. And the ones that I'm talking about are the Butterfly Brilliance butterflies, these guys right here. Absolutely gorgeous. And I'm gonna give you some information about these today, as well as give us a project that matches this fun die here. And you have seen me talk yesterday about the Butterfly Bijou paper, and the look of the die on this paper is absolutely gorgeous. And yesterday we used the die on one of these sort of tie-dyed, sponged, watercolory looking paper colors. But today we're going to use the die on the other side, which is remarkable because it cuts out all of these butterflies. And if you are a person who is not fond of coloring and you love the look of these gorgeous butterflies, then this is going to be a great set for you. Now, let me clarify. The stamped and the dies, which is this one plus that whole other page of dies, these are going to be in the new annual catalog, which comes out on comes out in May this year, the new annual catalog. But what won't be coming out is the Bijou Designer Series paper. So this Butterfly Bijou paper. This one is available only while supplies last. So don't wait too long to get it because I think this is going to be really popular. But this paper is not going to be in the new catalog. So it'll be available kind of up until then. And here is the handy little flyer, or you can look in the link description and go to my website and it'll show you this information too. So, all right, I'm missing my mornings. Hey Louise, hey Marnie, hey Trish and Sue and Tanya. I'm so glad you guys are all here. So, all right, let's see. I think that kind of gets us started on here. Shall we maybe get stamping? I think the first thing I'm gonna do actually before I flip you guys down is go ahead and use our die to cut out these butterflies. And one of the things I wanted to make sure I told you, morning Melanie, one of the things I wanted to make sure I told you about these butterflies is that there are 6 butterflies on here. You will need to have the full size die cutting machine to cut these out. The die won't fit through the mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss, but we're going to go ahead and put these through here. It cuts all of them at once, which means that we have just a really quick collection. And the card that I'm going to show you today uses just one page worth of butterflies and the scraps along the edge. So the paper pack has 6 different patterns in it, and for each of the 6 patterns, there are 8 sheets. So you're gonna be able to make 8 of this exact card from one package of paper. All right, ready to flip here? I'm gonna pull you guys down, and we're going to switch gears and have our camera pointed this way here so that you guys can see. All right, let me pop my screen up here too. Okay. So here is what I just die cut, and you can see that these butterflies just pop right out, and we have them ready to go. So, oh, I shouldn't have flipped it down because I needed to die cut one more thing first. All right, so I'm going to set these aside, and you can use the die also if you wanted to cut out like these partial butterflies on the side. You could trim little bits of this paper. So like, for example, I would take this one and trim it here. And then I would put this back through my die. Oh, well that one I guess doesn't match. Does it match here? There we go. Then I would put this back through my die and go ahead and cut it out here. So you can use these pieces. And I know you're like, but Meg, there's only a part of a butterfly there. A really easy way around that is to go ahead and put this partial butterfly on the edge of your card, kind of like this. And we'll kind of, I'm gonna show you that actually. I just decided. So I'll show you more of that as we get into our card. All right, the other thing I'm gonna use from this is I'm gonna cut this strip here of paper like this so that I have a strip that we can use inside our card if we want, okay? So definitely hang on to those pretty scraps. You could punch little circles, you could stamp greetings on this. It's a nice light color, which gives you a chance to you know, heat emboss on this or Stampin' Black. So lots of good possibilities. So save your scraps. And if you feel overtaken by scraps, then you can always go back and watch some of the LovenStamps tutorial or LovenStamps Studio Tours videos, which are going to kind of explain to you how to manage those scraps. All right, now here is the next thing I'm gonna die cut. And what I've done is I've taken a 4 by 5 1/4 piece of the Nature Touch specialty paper, and I'm going to pop this on here. And I want to make sure that my, don't get so distracted by getting your die and your paper right that you accidentally go like this and have your die off the edge of your plate. So I want mine to be about like this. There we go. What I'm looking for is to have all the corners connected. The only one that's gonna cut off is this corner here. And like I said, I could have done this. So as I'm cutting here, I'm gonna save these butterflies too, because you could certainly do a card that is like the inverse of what we're doing today with these guys in the center. Lots of good possibilities for them. And actually, when we do the pop-up card, I'm gonna use this butterfly here, the pop-up box card. So, okay, so now the part that I actually want is this, okay? And then remember that corner I showed you, I need that corner. Where did it go? Where is the corner? Oh, there it is. It did that last time too. It just fell off the edge of my die cutting machine. Okay, so I'm gonna set that aside, and good morning from Oregon. We are going to go ahead and put these pieces together now. So you're gonna need for this card, the butterflies you cut. You're going to need a piece of Rococo Rose that you're going to use as your card base. Try not to lose that. And let's get started kind of building things up here. So, oh my goodness, we're all galliwampus this morning. I love that word. I haven't used it for a long time. Okay, so you might be wondering why I have a piece of Rococo Rose that is layered on here. So this piece is also 4 inches by 5 1/4, so it's gonna mat, give us a mat, and we're going to put our pretty wood grain background on here. But before we do that, we're gonna pop a whole lot of Stampin' Dimensionals on here. So if you've seen me use Stampin' Dimensionals, you know that usually I don't actually use all that many. But what I wanna do is I wanna make sure that this piece is super supported. So I've got my minis, and I'm kind of looking for all of the places where there are little tabs, like tabs in, that when we flip this upside down, it could collapse, because we want there to be a really nice shadow effect here from our background. So, all right, and you could use some big ones too. I just happen to have the little ones in my hands, so I'm gonna keep using these. There are mini Stampin' Dimensionals like this. There are also the black Stampin' Dimensionals, which are really nice if you're working on dark colored cardstock and you don't want them to kind of show from the side. All right, I really need one right here. I don't think, oh yeah, I just barely get it. Okay, so I'm actually gonna clip just a little bit of that off there so it doesn't show. All right, have I got all my edges supported? You know what, why not? I'll just put one more on here. All right, and now I get to go back and peel all these off. But the reason that we're doing this is because we want to make sure that there's a really nice contrast between the place where we put our butterflies and the place where we have our background, except our background is reversed. It's our foreground. So this card is one of 4 of my projects that I'm sharing this month for LovenStamps Monthly Tutorials, which you can get as one of my LovenStamps Fulls team demonstrators, or by placing an order in my online store, any size, and you'll get this month. So, okay, or these PDF tutorials. Now I'm gonna flip these over, and I am going to line it up here with the edges of my Rococo Rose. Now the reason I picked Rococo Rose for this is because if I don't get it exactly in the right spot, that piece is not in the right spot, then it's not gonna show very much around the edges. So then we don't have to panic quite as much. All right, do you see how there's just a really nice shadow there now created by that dimension. And I have this one little bit here that I'm going to pop on. If you angle your die so that you cut off corners of the natural touch, you'll want to make sure that you go back and fill in those corners. Don't let them get lost. Okay, so now, hey Melinda and Jeanne and Pam and Kathy. Kathy says it's sunny there in Wisconsin. It is sunny here today too, and I am loving it. I often think that I'm kind of a solar powered person, so. And in Virginia, so we're all over the place this morning. Okay, so now I'm gonna go back with my butterflies and put these on. And I really like to use the multi-purpose liquid glue for this, which I use so often that I have the number all memorized. It's 110755. And I'm going to go ahead and pop this on here, and then I'm just gonna nudge this down underneath. Now, you might be looking at this and thinking, oh my gosh, Meg, that is a really busy background. How are you gonna put a greeting on there that actually, you know, doesn't get totally lost? So that's coming. I'm gonna show you how to manage your greeting on this project, because it definitely is a busy background, but it's so pretty, right? So what I'm doing is I'm kind of sliding these in a little bit, and the sliding in part is getting them snuggled underneath that Nature Touch paper. So we're kind of using that reverse negative space here. Now, when you get to this part, you want to be a little careful about where you're putting your glue. And I might even just go ahead and put my glue on my backgrounds, because I'm going to show you how to use all these random pieces that we have cut out. And this one's going to go up here. Oh, well, we haven't cut them out yet. You're going to see. We're going to chop them all off. Okay, and then this one's going to go here. And I wish that I put the glue in the card for this one, because this one now has glue everywhere. So, all right, not a big deal. We'll figure it out. Okay, so there's our butterfly background. Now this is going to go onto our Rococo card. And you can see here where I needed a place to mount these pieces, so they're on that Rococo rose, but then we're going to have them be on our card here. And we need to, now actually it's kind of cool, if you were giving this card to someone and just presenting it to them, you didn't need an envelope, you could totally give it to them like this with the butterflies popping off the edges. But we're gonna say this card needs to be mailed. So what we're gonna do is flip this to the back side, and you could use a trimmer for this, but honestly, I find paper snips are the safest. And this one was gluey, so I'm gonna set that aside. But I'm gonna hang on to all of these, and any place where our butterflies pop out, I'm going to trim. I find it much easier to do this from the back. From the front, this is so busy. It's really easy to get, you know, gallywampus again, and cut off the wrong, or, you know, cut too much or cut too little. So cutting from the back side here will definitely be your good strategy for getting those trimmed the way you want. So, okay, we're gonna set those aside. Okay, so now we have our card layer that's gonna go on the front here, and I'm going to pop some Seal Plus on the back and layer this down. Okay. All right, now for our greeting, like I said earlier, this is a really pretty card, but it's really, really busy. So we want to make sure that we have this like a focal point, right? So we're gonna use from the Many Messages stamp, which is this giant stamp here. Yesterday I did some heat embossing, so I've saved this greeting here, which is wishing you a year of magical moments and wonderful memories. And this greeting is going to be our greeting here. Now, the black cardstock is really nice because it really helps to center your attention, because it's a darker color than just doing the same thing in white, but it needs more presence. So kind of like we did yesterday with our circle here, I'm going to add another circle today. And so I have my Rococo rose, so that we can, remember, you want to repeat colors in a card. Pick just a couple and then repeat them so that you don't get a little too busy. And the Rococo rose is really pretty with these colors here. So this is gonna go behind. One of the things that I don't love about this circle though is that it feels pretty disconnected. So we're gonna give it a little texture, And to texture it, you have these dies, which are also in the same butterfly set. This is a really, really outstanding die set. I know some of us have butterfly dies from other past sets, but this one is so unique and so robust. So not only does it have the outlines, it has these detail lines here, which you can use with the outlines like we did yesterday. It has the little butterflies, and it has my favorite new texture dies. So I'm gonna pop this on here and do 1, 2, and through the magic of television, we have our dies. And then this is going to go here with our greeting behind it. And do you see how much more organic that feels? The butterflies and the this birchy paper are so mapley, maybe, are so organic looking that adding that texture in the background really makes a difference. But I want one more thing to anchor it, so I'm gonna add in a contrast color, which is gonna be our mint macron, which you can see matches our butterflies here. So this is, when I do LovenStamps Monthly Tutorials, I always pick a color palette and limit the supplies so that you know that when you have those supplies, you'll be able to make a good number of cards. And so the color palette for this month, the 2 ink pads are Rococo Rose and Mint Macron. So we're gonna use these together several times. All right, and Rococo Rose is about to retire. I'm really, really sad about that. So if you need reinkers or things in Rococo Rose, remember that that is gonna disappear at the end of April or sometime in April if it goes out of stock sooner. Okay, also using our tips from yesterday, I'm going to pull in my trimmer and a tiny sliver of the designer series paper here. So we're gonna make some paper curls again, and kind of like with the multi-purpose liquid adhesive, the green lid glue, I said yesterday that for our paper slivers, if you can see it, it is enough. So these are really thin, like a 1/16 of an inch almost. Okay. And remember, when you're using your trimmer, just use the little handle. This handle here is magic, and it will hold your paper in place. Okay. And so we're gonna take this and do some, a little bit of quilling again. So I know you guys enjoyed the quilling yesterday. Okay, so I'm going to hold this on my take your pick tool to get it started. Just hold the end down and wrap. Let's see, I think it's easier to do it this way. Maybe not. Okay, once you get it started though, you're just going to twist. And you know what? I'm gonna do the 2 ends of this in 2 different directions, and then I'll just use one today. So I flipped it over to the other end and I'm twisting it. Okay, and so now I have this, which is sort of like a little, I don't know, it looks musical to me. It's sort of like a G clef, but not quite exactly. So, all right, so now I'm gonna take this and we're going to start assembling. And when I use these tiny scraps of paper, like I said yesterday, Stampin' Dimensionals are your friends. So let's go ahead and pop some adhesive on the back of our mint strip. We're gonna pop this on here. We're going to add our strip here, and I'm gonna put the dimensional right in the middle, and then we're gonna take that off and add our greeting to it. And let's see, we'll do our greeting a little bit to the side this way. Okay, so now we have our little strips and our greeting there, okay? And I love these little paper curls with the butterflies. They have this feeling of movement to me, and it is just kind of a fun way to add those on. So I'm gonna use my multi-purpose liquid adhesive again, because I'm not really sure where on this part it's gonna contact. So I'm just gonna throw that glue on there so that wherever it hits, it will grab. Okay, and then our other embellishment for the front is going to be our Artistry Blooms sequins. And again, I'm gonna use these several times this month. So these are a great thing to add. And if you're looking for the supplies for this month's LovenStamps card kits, monthly tutorials and card kits to go, you can get those on my website, and it is linked in the video description. All right, so 3s are my happy number. I wanted to make sure those 2 weren't exactly lined up together. They're a little bit separated. And then this piece is driving me a little crazy, so I'm going to push it down and sort of burnish that paper so it stays. Okay, there is our card front. All right, you guys ready? We're going to do the inside of our card now because remember, I promised you we were gonna use some of those butterfly pieces. So I'm gonna flip this to the inside. I'm going to grab our Whisper White. And honestly, I didn't plan this part ahead, so we're kind of designing as we go now. I'm gonna bring in my Rococo Rose and my stamp, my giant butterfly stamp, because I really want to use this. The images are so pretty on it. So what I'm going to do, actually, I don't want to cover this whole thing because I feel like that would be too much with your writing. So I'm going to stamp off once, twice, yep. And then I'm going to stamp the third time on our paper. So we have a really nice light background. And honestly, let's see what happens if we just do a 4. Yeah, actually, I even like the 4th better. So there was sort of 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're gonna go with a 4th stamping of this. It's like the press of olive oil or grapes for wine or something. And this is gonna go inside. So really, really pretty. The details in this image come through whether you're on the first stamp or the last stamp. You probably go 5 or 6 and see what happens. And now we have a couple things. We have this designer series paper that we can use here as a strip. But we also have these pretty butterfly elements here that we can add on the edges of our card. And these, I think, is what I'm going to go with. Now, you could cut more of these if you wanted to, but I adore the way these come out at the edges. So when you cut from that big piece of designer series paper, remember you're gonna end up with edges that you have to trim off the front of your card. And those trimmed edges now are what you're going to have on your inside layer here. So let's put these on. Remember, green lid glue, if you can see it, it's enough. And they're going to just sort of echo that same front from the front. Now, the other thing that I like about these is that they are nice and bright, so they echo those bright colors from the front of our card, and we have that really, really light background that we added, so that will give us a fun bonus. And then, of course, you would stamp your envelope because you want your envelopes to be matching. Oops, 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 don't grab it. And we're going to pop this on here, and there we have that extra. So, yeah, so lots of really, really great ideas for this card. Here you can see kind of the front, there we go, the front and the inside together. I love the way they complement each other, and the stamp is absolutely beautiful. Now, somebody asked me, oh my gosh, is it gonna go really fast? Is it gonna sell quickly? And the answer to that is in my crystal ball. I do not know for sure, but I wouldn't wait too long to get these butterfly items because celebration just ended. So we are kind of on to new and exciting things, and I think this is going to be a really, really amazingly popular bundle this month. So if you want to get it without having to wait for it on a potential back order, then you would want to order sooner rather than later. So, all right, you guys want to see, I can show you, woohoo, sorry to take you on a crazy ride there. I can show you all of the cards that we are doing this month for Maker Mornings with Meg and this set of tutorials. So here's the one we did today. Here is yesterday's faux DSP card base. And I swear I didn't wear this shirt because of Rococo Rose, but apparently I do really like this color. And then, okay, so faux DSP card base. So opens like this, it makes the most of that DSP. And then 2 more cards. We have this one, which is gonna make your DSP stretch. And again, we're gonna talk about texture and so forth for that. And then kind of my favorite masterpiece card. So folds flat in the mail and then opens like this, and then again to be a pop-up, there we go, to be a pop-up box card. And you might notice some butterflies, die cutting pieces appearing again here in this card. So those are the 4 projects that you will see. So I'll share those video tutorials with you here. And then you'll also get PDF tutorials for those if you are one of my customers and you place an order during the month of March. So yeah. Lots of fun ideas. I have more Butterfly Brilliance cards to share with you. Would you guys like to see more? Let me grab my basket, which I set aside earlier. So as demonstrators, one of the things we love to do is trade card ideas. And so I have these from a demonstrator swap that I participated in. So I'll share, gosh, I have a whole bunch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, there's more than 10 or 12 here. So, okay, this first one is from Amy Story, and she used that designer series paper also, and then she colored the butterflies with the, I think probably with Stampin' Blends. This is kind of what it looks like to me, but I love the way she layered those papers. This next card is from Laura Bartow, and she did a really colorful background there and on her butterfly, and then used the dark overlay with the butterfly die cut. This one is from Joyce Faracco, and she did a layer with my favorite card size. My favorite DSP size is 3x4. So this is a great reproducible card that you could get a whole bunch out of, and the Nature Touch specialty paper there in the background. This card is by Karen Titus, and a really, really simple, beautiful layout. So simple and elegant with that die cut butterfly like the ones we used today. This is Stella McKay's card, and she has these happy colors, and it looks like blending brushes on that background there. So we've talked about blending brushes on stamps, and this one is a great way to use the technique, that direct to stamp technique. Oh, and she used the Natural Touch paper in the background there. So really pretty as a field. It's a great contrast. Here is another card. This is by Ann Clemmer, and she stamped in the background. You can see how she used that big image to get a great background stamp from here, and then highlighted with just the outline in that silver foiled paper. So a nice way to use the stamp. They're so flexible. Here is a card from Dawn Olszewski, and she used, instead of a black overlay layer, she used 2 different colors from her card. So she repeated the Highland Heather and the Pool Party, I think. Pool Party on here, which is a great compliment for Mint Macaron. Here's another card from Jennifer Cotton. She also used the background as a background stamp and featured the paper and the black cardstock with white embossing, so always a good thing. And then this card is from Denise Jorgensen, and she did a vellum layer. I don't know if you can see that, a vellum layer over the butterfly. So she cut both of them and then used 2 different strips of the DSP. All right, this card is from Tammy White, and she featured the acetate paper and did a negative space card a lot like what we did today. So you certainly can use these dies as a negative space. And then this one is from Linda Bowen. So she has sort of the butterfly feature that we did today with those die cut butterflies. And then we have another card here, Janice Waitman. She used those butterflies die cut from the paper too, and she layered them on this background here, which is actually, it's not a technique, it's just a piece of the paper from the package. So use that. Oh my gosh, these are great. Robin Cardin used that texture background here, this brick look, to add some design to the back of the card, or background of the card. And Kim Peck did a layer here with the brick folder, and then added little brick highlights from this set. And finally, a card from Jan McClurg, and she again stamped the background butterflies and the foreground with these die cut butterflies. Now, I have some other tips on this stamp set to share with you, and I'll share them the next time, but they have to do with cutting your stamps and making them a little bit more flexible. So I have mixed feelings about this one, but we can talk about that the next time we get together with this Butterfly Brilliance stamp set. So again, it's available today, so you can check the link in the video description and pick that up. And I have a couple more cards that I showed you that I will be sharing video tutorials with. So yeah. So we'll be back tomorrow for another Make Our Morning with Meg. I think tomorrow won't be a butterfly card. We'll do something a little bit different, but still great. And I wanted to say thank you again for spending your time with us this morning. So whether you're watching now or you're watching later on YouTube or the Facebook replay, I'm glad that you could join us for some fun projects. So Tanya is gasping already. Cutting stamps. Okay, let me give you the caveat right now before anyone goes and chops their stamps. It is really, I think, important to have them continue to match the die. So it would be to consider getting like a second stamp set, just the stamps, and then cutting them. So you'd have one full and one partial. We'll talk more about it later. So, all right, thanks guys. Hope you have a great day, and I will look forward to seeing you again tomorrow. Happy stamping.